Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's currently Wednesday, July 26th, and it means it's time for me to continue the learning of the Dota. I'm joined here by Coach Purge. Oh my god, Kevin, how are you?
I'm pretty good. It's the first show we've had since TI announcements went out. So how are you feeling about that?
I'm hosting! Yeah! Woo! I'm gonna host TI, which is amazing because I think this show has been really good practice for me to pose the questions so that you can provide all the answers. See, look at that. It's perfect. I'm just going to translate that. I'm going to get the panelists and go, here is who the teams are. Panelists, go. And they're going to be like, we got you, Sean. It's going to be so easy, man. It's going to be so fantastic.
I think it is a good place because you're at the point where you understand kind of what should be happening, and when there's cool stuff that happens or weird things you haven't seen before, it'll pique your curiosity because you'll understand it well enough. So I think it'll be a really good fit. I'm really happy for you.
Actually, in all sincerity, I think that only in the last 2-3 weeks does the idea of hosting not like completely terrify me, because you know, Dota is so complex. There's always that feeling of like, if I don't really get the gist of the game, I'm totally hopeless. Oh my god, you know. And of course everyone else who's there is like insanely good. I think I'm the lowest MMR at the entire event on the hosting talent panel. I want to say I'm at the very least
probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'm at the very least real low on there. So we have like a whole bunch of experts. I'm like, oh god, but like, you know, we've been talking a lot about this in the last few weeks. That only just now do I feel like the whole game kind of clicks, because it used to be segments of it where I understood what I was doing with laning in the off lane with this character and had no clue what the hell the rest of the game was going to be about. Hence why I always kept buying a Dagon and convincing myself it was a great idea. Like the whole link together of those pieces. Only recently happened, and now I'm just like over the moon excited. It's like a super duper honor because I've been watching TI every year since TI2.
Yeah, Sean, you know, the first time I saw you in person was actually TI2. I saw you sneak through the lobby to go upstairs to go sit in the stands so nobody would bother you.
Yeah, I like, as much as I am at a lot of events, I rarely attend events, and that one I sort of snuck in and attended and peered over.
Yeah,
and I didn't know that much about what was going on, and continually it was just Omer, our mutual friend Omer, who told me how stuff worked, and now I actually firsthand get how stuff works.
That's good. Yeah. He always used to mention to me, he's like, yeah, I've been trying to get Sean to play more, but hasn't really, but that was like years ago. It finally worked.
I know, it finally worked. It was him and then seeing Elder Titan. Those were the two that pushed me over the edge.
And going to TI literally every year, despite being
that was another thing. But also, you're going to be at TI doing weather manage.
Yeah, it should be a really fun time.
So for anyone who doesn't know that, tell what happens when you weatherman.
So it was originally a Valve idea. They brought it up last year, and the goal was basically to have a way to explain clips kind of physically, like in front of a screen. I mean, we do that often in this show, but we're usually using our tiny little mouse cursor. And we basically use some software that they use often for actual sports programs to draw on the clips to give more context to explain things. So I did that for the first time, at least in the Dota scene, for TI7, and went really well. And then I did it for Boston as well.
Or TI6.
I'm sorry, yeah, TI6, and did it for Boston as well.
Oh shit, did I miss TI7? That would have been bad.
Talk about how excited this is your nightmare. This is where you wake up.
Yeah, I get ready to do my Dota show. Sean, we're in the middle of the quarterfinals, and you're doing a Dota show, and I'm like, oh my god, my career. Oh, that's fine. I'll still be playing Phantom Lancer. So I want to talk a little bit about today's topic, and what it is in the history of things. By the way, did your mic just cut out?
I don't know. Did it?
No, it didn't. I can hear you just fine. Ignore me. Yeah, so it sounds like from your point of view, you've shared a lot of the foundational layers that you wish to share. Is that more or less accurate?
Yeah, I think if I did them again, I'd maybe adjust things a little bit, maybe make another lesson that we missed. That's kind of too late now. But yeah, I feel like we covered all of the stuff up until like 5 to 6K or something. Feel like with the knowledge that we covered, I think you could definitely, with enough practice, get yourself to like a 5K level and compete. But it's just about refining basically and making sure that you consistently do those things that will get you there. So from here on out, it's hard to make broad lessons that cover certain topics because it would be a lot of rehashing stuff we do before. Yeah. So it might be better if we focus more on specific things going forward, that is.
Yeah, so in terms of like setting up the review for where I'm at, I know you wanted to walk me through some Dota buffage.
Yeah. This is usually the best place to kind of look at trends, just because data obviously is a more accurate way to look at how things have changed. So if you want to pull open the Dota buff, this is basically, as long as you share your information in Dota buff, anybody can collect this info and we can take a look at it. There's lots of cool stuff that we can look at. We can see how many times you played certain heroes, what your win rates are like.
Phantom Lancer.
Phantom Lancer has been your new hero. You have a huge win rate on him. And I think the other really cool thing is that some of the heroes that you used to play a lot that you don't play very much anymore, like Nature's Prophet, for example, your win rates are usually lower on those heroes than the ones that you've been playing more recently. I feel like it's maybe the case. Zeus as well. I think you were playing like Viper, Lina, and Zeus primarily, and Nature's Prophet when we first started talking. And you don't necessarily 100%. Play Prophet anymore, but those heroes have a lower win rate. Your heroes recently have higher win rates.
Look at that, 4 months ago. And it looks like it's not recording some unranked or in-house games?
It doesn't do in-house games, no. It won't be retaining data.
Okay.
And any games you played before you started sharing your data also won't be saved. So
makes sense.
Probably some of the early games where your win rate was really low probably don't necessarily show.
Yeah, this is not my actual next win rate. My real next win rate is like 37%.
From the first like 20 games it took you to learn the hero or something?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, so there's a couple sections in here that are really worth poking into a bit more. The overview page we just took a look at. Let's go to the Heroes tab. I think that one's pretty good to do as well. Let's give us a little bit more detail. Once you jump down to like most played, highest win rate, or something like that.
Let's do highest win rate, because that always makes me feel like I got a big
Magnus,
deck.
there you go, dude. You
Look
did
at
it.
that.
Oh, big horn.
I destroyed in that game.
Yeah. I think these are pretty accurate numbers. I've always felt like you were very effective at Viper. Spearbreaker, you were always very confident at.
Yeah. I recently replayed him again in some in-house matches, and he deals so much damage at level 1. I'm just amazed. Yeah, this seems like this is being on the backs of Kevin's. Most of the Bounty Hunter games I recall you were watching me on.
A few, at least. I think you played a couple off, like in the first section as well. There's your Elder Titan from a month ago. Yeah, just small things. Oh, can you change the... if you scroll up just a little bit, is it on all time for the, if you go to the time filter?
I don't know, time, all time?
Okay, good, just wanted to make sure. And then we can take a look at the activity tab. I think that one's pretty fun to look at too. You can tell which day of the week the show is on. That's at the tab at the top of the screen.
Tab at the top of the screen.
Four next to heroes, sorry. I didn't mean top of the screen, I meant, go to which day's the show on?
Look, it's Wednesday. It's like, huge things, and of course it gets peppered throughout here. Wow, it seems to be recording my data a little earlier than I thought it would be, but no big deal. Look at that, I went 7 and 6 sometime in September. That's great.
There's generally a lot more red dots at the start, because I think we started the show around like February or something like that.
Oh yeah, this is my losing. Wow, I've been doing. Look, I'm pretty green the last few months.
Definitely pretty green. You can see what times of the days you play at, what your win rates are like on different days. That one's kind of cool. It seems like usually
if games here, but those were in houses, so yeah.
If you go down to the bottom of the page as well, you can see that it usually takes you until about Friday for the knowledge that I give you on Wednesday to really set in. That's where your highest win rate is, or your most relaxed. I'm not sure.
No, it's generally on Wednesday I tend to play the 3 ranked games, and then we do the coaching game. And almost always I'm really hyped on Dota, so I play about 3 or 4 more games that evening, do a few more on Thursday, and then just as you say, Friday, that's when it starts to click. And then my work week is starting to kick into gear. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday tend to be my least good days for just playing it all.
So I think it definitely shows that you've had some improvements. If your win rates are going up, it means that you are raising MMR. And as you raise MMR, your win rates should probably level off. If you are not getting better from there, but considering you're continuing to get better, it keeps going up. And the last thing I want you to look at is the trends tab, and make sure it's filtered by all time. And there's a couple different things we can look at here. We can take a look at your solo ranked MMR if you want to see how that. Well, first of all, win rate. You really dropped off, Sean. I'm disappointed in you.
Oh my god, this is where I went to Dumpsterville. I won my very first ever ranked game with Lena. Look at that. Wait, I started on August 20th?
That's all games.
Amazing. Yeah, fuck yeah, look at this. I played one ranked game with Lena. I won. It was like 55 minutes long, and I was so happy I wanted to jump. I have never felt such euphoria in Dota as I did in that very first game. Because I was like, I'm the king. I played the hard game and was paired against people of equal skill, and I won. I must be special.
But take a look at the graph changes. If maybe we can look at solo ranked as well.
Sorry, I'm like going off on
No,
like
it's
crazy.
totally cool. It's all interesting stuff to look at. I mean, you started around, I think you started lower. You were around 22 when we started, so you didn't start sharing data for ranked. You also have to have your solo MMR visible on your page and share the data for it to track, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But we did have, we've got some pretty good graph going on in here too.
Yeah, and back on this win rate thing, you said you wanted to review something else?
Yeah, just hover your mouse along the bar and you can see like times, which games you played. So you were hovering pretty low on win rate actually before the coaching started. 48% that was your average win rate based on all the games you've played.
Wow,
so,
you're right. Holy shit. And then look at this, since coaching. Oh, dude, that is actually crazy because literally right here is right when the coaching started. Look at that. Like actually, I think it was January 18th is the very first game, the very first day of the show. I think I'm 90% sure.
I think you're right. It was about there. Yeah. So then your win rate. It's never going to be 100 again because you sucked and lost a game, but it's okay. 55 is pretty good. That's a really high win rate. So if your win rate stays at 55%, that means that your MMR will go up over time.
Yeah.
Until you finally plateau or stop getting better or something like that. So
yeah, and at 55% win rate, every 10 games, I should gain about 25 MMR.
Mm-hmm. Or every 20 games you play, you win, what, 11?
Yeah,
something
so
like
every 20 games, you win 11 out of the 20, which would be a net gain of 50 MMR. So in order to increase the variance even more, we can just double down and just wildly swing all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely can. You want to look at the other best stat is probably KDA ratio. I think that one's pretty interesting. So that's your kills and your assists divided by your deaths, I believe.
Holy shit. So apparently I used to just farm. Here's Farmer Sean on the left. And then when we started to do coaching, you're like, yeah, just go kill him, man.
Or you had more deaths, and therefore your ratio is worse. But generally your KDAs are a lot better over time.
Yeah.
Now, if GPM, XPM, last hits per 10 minutes, these are not going to be as accurate because it changes based on your role. And when we first started working with you, working together, you were playing almost entirely mid-heroes, which means that you always had creeps available. You always had creeps to last hit before 10 minutes in a 1v1 setting.
Yeah.
Unless you change the role.
If I do something like Phantom Lancer in here, does it just show me my last hits by 10 minutes?
Why don't you do like Lena? Because I don't know if you played her that long ago.
Let's take a look at Lena. Last hits at 10 minutes. Let's go. Holy shit. Are we serious with this shit right now?
That's a pretty big jump. So you had a little bit under 50 before we started coaching, and by the end you're sitting around like 58 on average, which is not an insignificant jump. That's like
this
10
literally says that you will linearly get better at last hitting over time.
I mean, and that might have just happened anyways by you playing, but I think
yeah,
a lot of the graphs definitely show that. But again, if you play like more supports and stuff, if you don't filter based on hero, then it won't be as accurate. We could look at like KDA ratio. What's a hero that you played right before? How about like Viper? Because you played a lot of Viper right before and a little bit after as well. I'd love to see like last hits at 10 KDA ratio. It's gone down, bad sign.
Yeah, I actually don't think I've just played him that much, but I do remember right when we were doing some of these Viper games, like I felt like I could shit on everybody at 2200, and then I just didn't play him until around 3K, and he felt harder to do stuff with.
Yeah, people better know what he does, and they don't throw themselves at him in stupid ways, basically.
Well, it's been all downhill from here with Viper. Look at that. I just been unable to get any better with him. He's a hard hero.
You know why that is? It's because he helps you last hit when heroes are low, so it doesn't make sense.
Oh.
For a whole 5 games, he's gone up.
Oh my god, he's gone up in these 5. What a relief. So the important thing to note is, of course, sample size is an important piece to any reliable data set. God, this is so interesting, man. I imagine you can just get lost in this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a common problem with Dota buff is there's too much good info, so it becomes hard. Like when I told you which tab to choose, there's like 5 rows of tabs, right?
Yeah.
But once you find what you're looking for, the amount of information is pretty incredible. And in the case of a long engagement of coaching somebody over time, this is maybe one of the better times to bring up the data. So
yeah.
So it's been a bit of a trip, but I think you've clearly gotten better. Your MMR's raised by 1,000. I think you're to ask you what
Yeah.
people should be doing, you can almost always answer that. And from there, you can ask TI winners to fill in the gaps and things like that.
Oh yeah.
So
Whew. Yeah, and I think that in terms of my experience, I felt like you were just giving lessons in the first, say, 6, 7 lessons. A lot of it was executional, technical ideas about juking, ideas about last hitting, and those just sort of slowly improved my MMR without me even trying to do anything specific. I think for me, the graph seems to indicate this isn't the case, but I feel emotionally like once I hit a little above 3K, that's where I have been stuck the longest. And I think that's where I kind of feel like I needed to understand the whole gist of the game more. This is when I was doing a lot of Crystal Maiden, a lot of Bane, a lot of Bounty Hunter, just a lot of the roaming, moving supports, and I was drifting away from my comfort heroes. And I feel like that really made it click because I could feel when things went horrible and feel when things went well and feel when I was completely useless. And completely useless is something I actually don't think I ever really feel if I am offlane mid or carry, because if I'm getting actively shit on, I see someone shitting on me, and if that's not happening, then I'm getting last hits. Whereas if I'm a support, I can try to go somewhere, and then nothing happens, and I go, oh, I should not have been here in the first place. Something must have gone wrong 30 seconds ago when I made the decision. And it's those sorts of things that I think I didn't have a sense for, is when the overarching decision-making was wrong. Because, I mean, the other three, like offlane mid, safe lane carry, I'm just trying to get last hits as best as I possibly can, and I can focus on that localized problem.
yeah, there's always something for those characters to do that feels like you're doing the right thing, I would say. Whereas supports, it has to be, you have to be able to do the right thing and not have them kind of accidentally fall into your grasp. And once you can accomplish those things all the time, yeah, support is very impactful and feels a lot better. I think one of the reasons that you've maybe plateaued a little, that you've been sitting a little bit above 3K for a while. First of all, obviously you've not had a ton of time to play games due to internet outages and stuff like that. But that kind of ties into the main point of when you get when you get to like the 3 to 4K, basically like the 3 to 5K mark is all refinement heavily. It's taking all of the things that I taught you and heavily reducing the amount of times you make those mistakes. Like if you can pull 4 times and only mess it up once, that's going to massively increase your chances to crap on the offlane, give your carry a good game. Whereas if you're playing with a 2K player, he's going to miss 3 of those 4 pulls or totally forget to pull most of those times. So if you just heavily reduce the amount of those mistakes that are commonly made, your MMR will jump pretty heavily. And I would say that, like we talked about last week, one of your mistakes is definitely that issue, that you'll have small periods in the game where you'll go back to bad habits or you'll do inefficient things.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think that, one of the big goals of today's specific show is to just get a sense of where I'm at right now with these core concepts reviewed, and to talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing going forward. Because Purge and I are going to continue to make Dota shows. This week, leading into TI, like from now up to TI, it's probably going to be a lot more focused on TI. So next Wednesday, hell, we might just be watching the games. But in terms of, if we ignore that TI is happening, as hard as that may be, I'm interested in talking about safe lane carry. I never thought that I would be interested in playing that role, but for whatever reason, I've just gotten really into it as of late, largely because I think Phantom Lancer's a super cool character.
Which is worth it, because once I was looking at clips, I feel like there's a big gap in knowledge there. Like, we barely touched carry tasks, and maybe that's just because playing carry is fairly straightforward. You get last hits, you buy items, you take smart team fights, and the only other thing maybe we should have covered was knowing when it's safe to farm in a certain location. We won't cover that last one today, but I watched a recent game that you had played and took a bunch of clips from it, and we can go over those really quick and talk about some of the mistakes you're making. So,
sure.
Started the game, you got a Stout Shield, a Salve, and a Tango. You're going to head to the lane and use your Quelling Blade, or buy a Quelling Blade. So you got to the lane, you messed up your block a little bit. Before... I messed up the clip a little bit, but what happened was the range creep made its way through and met your creep wave first, which basically made it impossible for you guys to anti-push, correct? Do you know what the mistake was made that caused that?
You mean how our wave was hitting his range creep right here?
Yes.
So I didn't realize that I would have any control over that. I thought that this was Nyx letting the ranged one through so that it went forward.
He did, but there's a way to solve the problem. Number one would be you block better so that it's closer to you and you can react faster. And number two is the support walks to the lane ahead of time, checks to see if it's a range creep first, and if it is, he stands in the lane and lets the range creep attack him 3 to 4 times. Because when a range creep's attacking, he's standing still. And as soon as the melee creeps past the range creep, he can now run south and let the creeps meet, and then it would be your melees fighting his melees.
Ah.
So this was a mistake by your Caudal to not walk forward, and because this happened,
Tiago, oh my god, I can't believe it.
Game.
Oh god, I'm gonna link this to him afterwards and let him know. Because by the way, for any of you who don't know, this is me playing in a 5-stack with my buddies.
Yep. Okay. Other major issue you made. You've got a lot of gold at the start here. You bought a Quelling Blade, which was your goal, so that you make sure you get your last hits. You can press play on the clip now.
Well, there's a fast question I have.
Sure.
I've seen a number of players buy the slippers, and then they get a Poor Man's Shield, and then they get a Quelling Blade. Or they'll go slippers, and then Quelling Blade, and then Poor Man's Shield. And I've been just trying to go Stout Shield into Quelling Blade if I don't think I'm actually going to be pressured very much, just to get the Quelling Blade sooner. And I really don't know what to think about those first 3 items because it feels so good to get a Quelling Blade.
Yep.
But I technically know that it will help me if I have a shield up sooner in terms of receiving damage. And I don't know if I should literally just, fucking man up and get used to last hitting without a Quelling Blade for, 1 wave until I get it, or whether you think it's more efficient. This is my preferred opening in all the PL games I've played.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk a lot about the openings. That's perfect you asked that. The first thing to look at is what is your base damage at the start of the game. For PL, you've got 62.
Yeah.
Which is very high. The average hero is like low 50s, sometimes even less if you're like Gyrocopter or Sniper or something like that. So for the pro players that will go 2 slippers into a Quelling, those players are less worried about harass and the temporary, but they still want to make a Poor Man's Shield when the harass will ramp up. So if they expect their support to zone the offense properly, they can justify, I don't really need a Poor Man's right now. I will buy Quelling first to guarantee last hits, and then afterwards get the Poor Man's. In your case, going Stout into Quelling is fine. The downside is that it's a pain in the ass for you to get a Poor Man's because you can't buy slippers at the side shop. So most pro players will bring the 2 slippers with them. That way they can make a Poor Man's Shield right away. That way they have decent last hitting because it gives them 6 damage. They have best trade ability if things get hairy, and they can still... Did I say last hit okay because it's 6 damage? I think I did. So the 2 slippers and a Stout, which makes a Poor Man's, is the safest. Your way is fine, but I think it's a mistake because of the items you buy afterwards. And why don't you press play now?
Well, the last question I have is that I really like skipping the Poor Man's Shield. Do you think that that's just literally incorrect?
Watching this game, I think it's completely fine because your opponents suck at pressuring you. At lower MMRs, players are not going to do that as well. They won't trade hits well. But it also prevents you from trading well also. So if you're just sitting in your lane getting last hits all lane stage, it's fine, and that's what you did this game. But if you do actually want to fight your opponents a lot, or if it's somebody that will fight you a lot, like a Bristleback or something like that, you should almost for sure get a Poor Man's Shield. Because not only does it make you tankier, but also works against your illusions, actually. And that's probably the biggest reason you should buy it, now that I think about it, is because damage block works fully on illusions, and you make illusions all the time. So that means that if you use Spirit Lance on somebody and an illusion spawns that hits them, every time they hit your illusion back, it's for sure blocking 20 damage every time. And it gives them 6 agility, which is damage, armor, and attack speed. So
I'm actually going to open Dota 2 because I think I misunderstood the benefit gain from Poor Man's Shield versus Stout Shield. Okay. Stout Shield's still 50% block chance, right?
It is, but it's significantly worse than a Poor Man's Shield. It's obviously...
Can we talk about the pain here? Where it's like, day 9 to host, and there's me, and you click, and there's day 9, and then a bunch of fucks in alphabetical order.
Yeah. And the other host is like 2.
I know, they're in alphabetical order. I felt so self-conscious. I was like, put me in the D position. Put me after Draskell. Oh, God, don't put me... Oh, God. All right, but I thought that was funny, so... So, in terms of... Because this is 50% chance to block, 16 damage, and the poor... Or where is the Stout Shield on this thing?
That was Stout Shield.
It's 100% chance to block.
20 damage.
Oh.
So that means on average Stout Shield blocks 8 damage as a melee hero, and Poor Man's Shield on average blocks 20 from heroes.
Huh.
So it's what 1.5 times better damage block wise,
I
and gives you
see.
6 agility. And as an agility here, that's 6 damage, 6 sevenths armor, and 6 attack speed.
I didn't know that. I had no idea that it would just always block the hero damage. That's huge. Okay.
It's really good against heroes that have summons as well. It's very good against illusion heroes. Against a PL, damage block is amazing. Against Broodmother, Poor Man's Shield is amazing because it blocks the player-based spider damage. There's a lot of things like that, like if there's little creeps. So because you guys didn't do the block the range creep thing properly, the creep wipe dies. All right, we actually just missed, sorry, what I wanted to point out. Can you go back? I'll jump back a second.
Yes.
What ended up happening was you bought the quelling bid from the side shop, and as soon as you got money, you purchased a ring of protection and you walked it out to you with a walking courier, like like a huge dick. Now, do you understand why that's a dick move?
Well, because in theory, the mid laner is going to want to have it.
Yes.
Now, I asked for permission. I said...
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
But what would be a better way to just avoid this whole problem in the first place?
Buy it in the first place. Just buy it before the game begins.
That could have worked. Especially if you're not planning to make Poor Man's Shield, that would be the way. In the case of you going double Slipper, you probably can't afford it, I imagine, in addition to other stuff.
Here's typically what I do is in this game, because I was 5 stacking, I just asked Queen of Pain, like, hey, can I just ferry this out right now? But typically what I do is if I can ferry this out, great, and then I'll just get a Ring of Basilisk fairly quickly with these 2 items. Or in case I can't do that, I will wait until I've bought the Wraith Band and the ring, and then ferry all of them out, and then buy to complete the Aquila from the side shop.
That probably works, but you're losing a lot of the value of what the basic could be, because it gives you mana over time, and that's the main reason you want it in the laning stage. Is either for pushing or for giving you a slow trickle of mana. Because as soon as you cast your first lance, which is in 0.2 seconds here, you could be gaining mana, which is more Spirit Lances over the course of the lane stage. 100 seconds gives you 65 mana, which is half of a cast. So it really does add up and could make the difference. So I personally like always going to lane with a Ring of Protection. That way I don't have to wait on a courier. That way it doesn't have to walk all the way across one of the longest lines on the map.
Then what would these starting items be? Because this is 125, 110.
You can self Tango, Stout, and Ring of Protection.
Oh, because it's 175 and I have 190 left over.
Yep. And then with your bounty rune, that'll put you close to like 130 or something. And then within 1 or 2 last hits, you have your Quelling Blade. Or you can go even farther, buy Sage's Mask right away, and then you get 7 damage from Basilius, which is 7 damage compared to the Quelling Blade's 24. It's comparable-ish. And especially on PL, it puts you close to 70 damage. You shouldn't miss a last hit at that point.
So last question is that if I wanted to go Tango's Slippers of Agility salve, and I don't have my Ring of Protection, well, I can't even afford a Ring of Protection at that point.
Yeah. You're not going to get it without a courier, I think. I don't think you have the money.
All right.
Because it'd be like 533, 35 with all the other stuff, so you don't have enough gold. Unless you walked it out instantly by grabbing the bounty rune. And usually your mid will walk out like a salve or something like he is right now at the start of the game. So it would be just something you have to live with. And because you have a Caudal, it's not that big of a deal anyways. But I still think this is really worth pointing out because this is one of the most common mistakes that new players make as carries in the early game is they just walk items out to them all the time. And you did this like a couple times in a row. So.
Yeah, and I try not to do that when I'm in pub games. I try to just wait until I have all of these items and then just ferry at once. But every single time I'll have I ask for explicit permission.
That makes it
a very good mid.
That makes it a lot better, but it still screws somebody because there's a chance somebody was going to want to use it for their uses as well. So let's just kind of keep an eye on how you're handling this. So mostly I want to look at the items in the bottom right is what I want you to focus on. So I want to see what you're buying. You bought a Ring of Protection there. This was the moment afterwards. You have the Ring of Protection. You bought a Wraith Band. Like, see where the courier is right now? It's walking away from you because it brought the Ring of Protection. Oh my gosh,
I didn't even get the Ring of Basilisk. I could have just got the Ring of Basilisk, dude. Oh my god.
Which would have given you more benefit, 7 damage. The Wraith Band sat on the courier a while, and even if you brought it to yourself, it would have had to walk all the way back again, which would have been kind of lame.
I know.
So, like, this poor planning here and the order that you bought everything kind of made everything way worse, which was just kind of dangerous. And what's the one thing you're really missing in all of these moments in the first couple of minutes? It's Boots of Speed. You got no movement speed here.
I deliberately was skipping Boots of Speed to get the Ring of Aquila first for 2 reasons. One,
I can't wait for this. Go ahead.
all right, don't you worry, because these reasons are only mildly compelling. Reason one, when my internet was down, I just said, oh, let me try to play PL. And my internet was actually stuttering a lot, and
Okay.
PL is very comfortable to play with a stuttering internet. And I said, God, how do I play PL? I went on to Dota Buff, I looked at some games of good players, and a good chunk of them got the Ring of Aquila first, and I went, I'll do it too. That's the first reason. I wanted to look cool like high MMR players. Second, I tried it a few times and went, yeah, no, seems great. That's it. That's all my reasoning. That's it. If you want something deeper than that, I don't have it. If you want the explanation of the holy trifecta as it relates to Boots versus Ring of Aquila, don't have that either, man. I got none of that shit for you, but I do have a Ring of Aquila early.
Okay. It does make you farm really fast, and it buffs up your illusions a little bit. Not enough worth to make an argument for it, but it's a 15 damage item, so ideally it would make you kill creeps faster and maybe enhance your ability to collect gold. But against a dual lane of a Pudge and a Nyx, I think it's really dangerous to not go Boots first, because outside of Doppelgang, that's your only escape, pretty much.
Actually, so what about this? I really like the idea of getting the Ring of Basilisk first so I can just harass a lot, but just go Basilisk, Boots, and then into Aquila.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
That seems good.
Assuming you don't have to worry about any regen. If you still have regen like you did this game, then it's totally reasonable. That would be the safest thing to do in my opinion. Or you could go Basie, Quelling, Boots. Would be fine too. Or Ring of Protection, Quelling, Basie, Boots. Or Ring of Protection, Quelling, Boots, Basie. Just adjust the order based on what the circumstances are. You know the benefits of each. Quelling helps you last hit, lets you juke in trees. Basie gives you more mana and gives you decent damage and the ability to push towers, as well as giving your lane support mana. And then Boots obviously for chasing and trying to kill heroes, for escaping dangerous situations, or for walking between like pulls and stuff. So you got that. You just pretty much went the worst possible order in my opinion.
That's great.
In this circumstance.
Woo!
Like at the very least, bringing the Wraithband out is probably not worth it, unless I'm like fighting enemy heroes a lot and I want a trading advantage. So here's the moment where your Wraithband's sitting on the courier, I believe. And then after you killed this creep wave, you were like, all right, time to buy my next item, Ring of Basilius. And I was frustrated because it's like 3 minutes in, you're against a dual lane. I really felt like at this point it was Boots time, and you still got Basie. So I was frustrated. So against a Pudge, like, you're just gonna get killed.
No, don't you worry. Actually, make it. Oh, the clip's done. The clip's done. Okay.
Okay, good. We can take a look at clip 2 then, and I'll show the other point that I thought was a huge mistake. You got level 2 here. You knew that there was a Nyx and a Pudge in your dual lane, and you still got Phantom Rush. That is a huge mistake, because Phantom Rush is not going to help you kill a hero, and if it does, you bought the wrong items for it. If you like, Phantom Rush at level 2 only works, in my opinion, if you are planning to kill the crap out of the offlane heroes that are there, because it helps you gap close and hit them, and ideally you could use it with like an Orb of Venom or something.
God damn, that makes so much sense. Yeah.
But against a Pudge and a Nyx, do you remember when you almost got hooked in the last clip? You were level 2 at the time, and you did not have a doppelganger. You literally would have died if you got hooked.
It's pretty bad.
Because now, you had Phantom.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't have to tell you this. I could take this embarrassing statement to the grave, and no one would ever have to know. But I want to share it with you because I trust you and I trust our audience. Kevin, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
The reason I get this is that I go to the side shop to buy quite a lot early on.
And then you can sprint back for last
hit. I can sprint back to get the last hit. Bam! Oh, God, that's
or funny. Just use your mana. I don't know.
I just don't want to miss last hits, man, but I want to get my items now. Let me get them. Oh, shit. That's it. That's the reason. That is the reason.
I mean, that's like... let's be generous. We'll say that's 2 more last hits in the laning stage that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Pops. Before the point you hit level 4.
I'm laughing so much because as I'm saying it, it sounds so stupid. And I'm remembering the confidence that I had when choosing this ability. I'm like, I better get this. It'll let me get last hits. Like I had a deeper, manlier internal dialogue talking to Outer Sean. Outer Sean's like, okay, I trust you. You're a good leader. Let's get the Phantom Rush.
So
Okay.
at least you had some logic behind it, and yeah, it does that. But it's very easy to look at like one cool benefit and and let it overwhelm your overall judgment of the other things.
Yeah.
So, which is what happened here, because you just can't pass up doppelganger against
Yeah.
a scary dual lane like this.
But I think I only need
Just
one level of doppelganger, and then I can just go
Yeah,
to Phantom Rush for the rest of my
absolutely.
levels.
Especially if you rush Diffusal Blade really fast, I think maxing Phantom Rush as your second ability is
it's so
actually
good.
pretty valuable because the cooldown goes so low, and the agility bonus is also good for spawning more illusions, creating causing damage, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
can hop over to clip number 3. This is another really important thing that you should do as a carry. I don't know if you have sound for this clip or not, but your Caudle is over in the jungle. You can see him on the map there, and there is nearby heroes. And this whole time, what is Sean doing? He's collecting items. And then your Caudle runs in a camera view. You see that it's pretty clear that he almost died, and you just didn't even look. And as a carry, it's important that you do actually keep an eye on what's happening in the lane, because there's going to be times where your support dies when you could have shifted over and used one spell, or maybe he got somebody low and you didn't react. You need to function as a unit as a carry.
So
really
here's the question that I had, because I remember this point in the game, and Tiago screams sometimes. So he was screaming in Discord. So I knew he was being attacked because I heard a screaming adult man.
Okay.
And I said, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then he ran this way.
Okay.
And so I did have the awareness, but I'm always leery of walking away from the creeps right now. Like, in my eyes, my logic is, if I need to help him to stay alive, or if we're getting a kill, those are the only two reasons where I would ever want to leave the lane, because missing a last hit is so big and scary. Is that logic wrong? Like, if I see he's getting messed with and I know it, should I just instantly try to go to him to try to protect him?
Your logic is not too wrong. Like, it's okay with the exception of it's okay to miss a last hit for important things. But what you should have done is, rather than hold down your push attack key and mention, "Hey, are you dying?" You just should have moved your camera over and briefly looked and assessed the situation and thought, like, is he gonna die? Can I help him? Can I get a kill?
That's totally obvious. Yeah, because I mean,
Instead,
the thing that we're trying to work on is my judgment, not the ability to trust Tiago.
Yeah, which is good to do in, I don't know, a teamwork situation if you're on a team consistently with the same people. But in that circumstance, you move over and look. By the way, I just thought of a contradiction to the previous thing about Phantom Rush. If you got Phantom Rush for last hitting, why didn't you buy Boots of Speed early?
Because I can spend the money. Because I only need to get back from the shop to the lane.
It was the only time you need to run to a creep. Okay, yeah, well, both of those logical arguments are contradictory in my opinion. If you have
only a little bit, because Boots gives you that persistent thing, and if I'm nearby, I'm okay. But it's when I'm far away I need to dash in. No logical inconsistency of the incorrect decision. Get toasted, get roasted. Gonna turn Purge over till he's golden brown on the other side. There it is.
Not sold on that yet. Boots doppelganger man next time. Okay.
Got it.
Unless it's like a solo offlane, that's being zone properly. Good to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Number clip 4. You can jump forward. Yeah. Oh, nice. We are on clip 4. All right. So at this point, you got your Aqua. You're level 5. You're pretty strong. Your ally uses Stampede here. Small mistake. You should have walked through him while Stampede was active, because it does damage and applies a slow.
What's walk? Oh, you mean the ultimate from
the Centaur, because it gives you phased movement speed, and if you phase through somebody, then they get nukes. So it probably wouldn't have been a lot of damage, maybe like 60 or something, but it would have made a small difference.
Yeah.
We're 8 minutes in here, by the way, and this is the first time that you, from what I've seen, actually attacked your opponent. Yeah. You casted a lot of Spirit Lances in the laning stage here, but that was the first time that you pressured them. And I really think there was some potential for doing something like, I'm not saying you have to go Orb of Venom because you're going to run out of item slots fast, but you can buy Orb of Venom, get a Boots, and just hit people.
If I get Boots and Basilisk, then I will have the option to harass them and still return back to my creeps in time without having to rely on Phantom Rush.
That's probably true. Is that why you didn't do it sometimes?
Didn't do what sometimes?
Like harass your opponents. I mean, it was definitely dangerous, like the level 1, but once you're like level 4 or something, it's pretty safe for you to trade hits with them, in my opinion, because worst case you doppelgang away and are probably out of rot range.
I think it's that it literally is not a gear I have in my safe lane carry play, go harass the other guy, because it's like me and my buddy can harass at the same time, or I should be focusing on last hits. Like, that's kind of how I think of it. Rarely did it... Actually, it literally never occurred to me once in this game that I could just walk up, solo, hit the other guy.
And that's definitely what I saw. I took clips for about 15 minutes, and it pretty much never happened. Now, if you pause for a second, take a look at the last hits and denies on the left. Yeah. In this circumstance, it was fine to not fight them, because you've got 49 last hits. Your Caudle has 1, the Pudge has 2, and the Nyx has 17. So they're definitely getting less last hits than you by far. They're getting less experience probably as a result.
Yeah.
So you guys are winning by being passive. But if you're playing against better players, they're going to get almost as many last hits as you if you don't occasionally pressure them. So this worked because your opponents are bad, basically. Okay, so in the future you may have to consider killing them, which isn't even bad for you. You might miss a couple last hits, but you get a kill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sick.
Something to consider. That was clip number 4. So just pressure early was my note. Clip number 5. This one is pretty big. So you're very close to your Diffusal Blade at this point. You're only like, what, 850 away, and you decided to try to clear some of this stack camp. Caudle did not have Illuminate, if people are wondering why Caudle didn't just do it. But trying to clear like large stacks like this when you don't have the capabilities is very, very dangerous to do as a carry. And by clearing this, you pretty much just, we'll count the creeps you killed. You got 16 gold for that, but you're ignoring the wave. Your opponents are doing whatever they want, getting every last hit. And this is also costing you a shitload of resources. That was 2 spare lances.
I am trying to figure out techniques for clearing these efficiently. And I do not have... Because, like, this problem here has happened in many of my PL games when I'm trying to clear a camp. Where sometimes if it's, like, double stacked or triple stacked, I can pull right to this side. And I can constantly spawn illusions right here, pick off the big scary AoE guys, and clear it. And it feels like it's very fast. And I don't know how to make that evaluation.
I would say
I can or can't clear it.
You can clear it, and I would say it's fairly efficient, but it's dangerous as hell. Because if they have a ward, like where your mouse is right now in the upper right, if they just have a ward, replay mouse, sorry. If they have a ward up there, you are dead. Because if you resume the clip and it goes on for a while, there's a lot of moments where you were very close to dying. And the other problem as well is that you're constantly tanking the damage, and the better way to do it would be to, every time you spawn illusions, is to de-aggro using your illusions. Because it's an allied unit,
I
you
can
use it to
A-click
de-aggro.
on my own illusion?
And then,
no fucking way.
if you keep your HP mostly full, and you're always de-aggroing onto your illusions, they will always take the damage for you. Obviously, they take much more damage than you do, and it's obviously very hard against a stack this big, but if there's like only one camp, you can easily let your illusions tank for you. And all these moments here, look at your HP. Like, you're standing in a good place, you're far away from the edge over there to the right, but it doesn't take a lot for them to kill you if they have vision on you.
I felt real icky at this point, and I was like, I guess my evaluation was wrong. I stayed there. I stayed there for a long time, and then I was like, oh god, guys, I'm gonna use this.
You got a bounty rune and use the shrine, and it's been like at least a minute that you haven't been in the lane at all, and you didn't even finish the Diffusal Blade anyways. Like, what should have happened is Caudle will get levels of Illuminate, do a lot of stack pulling, and eventually kill. This would have been a perfect time to de-aggro. Throw in the lance, let them tank the lance illusion, and then your hero runs in. Like, you even walked all the way back, and that could have just been a simple A-click. And this whole time,
I had no idea they could do that. That's so helpful.
And at this point, it's easy to kill stuff, but yeah, you definitely, even right now, I think you're still taking hits. All those little attacks add up, and now you're at half HP again.
No, this was like 1.5 health bars total of damage taken.
Yeah, at least. You finally got Diffusal Blade, but now you're missing HP, so you can't gank. And the other important thing you should have done is brought yourself a TP scroll. And ideally not been low HP, because then it would allow you to actually do things on the map. If you play the next clip, it's kind of a continuation of these mistakes. Like, over the last couple of minutes, your net worth is still up there, you're still winning the game, but you're not so commandingly ahead, which you should be, in my opinion, against players of a lower caliber.
Yeah. And
look, fights happening, shit's hitting the fan, your HP's at half.
I actually remember that moment where I looked and I went, guys, I'm so sorry I don't have a TV.
Yeah.
And then you see me actually bought one, I buy 2 right there after that moment.
But do you see how inefficient this is?
You that sucks a lot of ass, man.
You could have had a TP ready, you could have taken less damage, and then because you weren't in the lane ever, because you were jungling, now you feel like you have to come down here. By the way, Phantom Rush to the last hit. Now you feel like you have to TP to the bot lane just to kill creep waves because they pushed it in. Yeah. Whereas if you were keeping your HP full, doing things in your lane, pressuring their tower, then you could show up to fights and it wouldn't be a detriment to your team's strategy.
And I'm also experimenting around with getting boots of travel before Ags, like trying to identify when I want to actually flip those, because I love Ags on this hero. It is
Okay.
so fucking insanely good.
I think it's good,
Yeah.
but there's limitations. It gives you HP. It lets you farm faster, push faster, team fight a little bit better, moderately better. It kind of depends on the circumstances. But the problem is that you're still the same slow, like 330 movement speed hero. You're really slow. And it takes a long time even to finish the Ags, in my opinion. I don't think farming until Ags is a good move. I think the better move is generally to go BOTs first. Because then as long as you're de-aggroing your illusions and letting your illusions tank for you, no matter where things happen, you're always going to be there. And even if you need to TP to a lane to defend, what's the TP comparison between BOTs and teleport scroll? Do you know what the difference is? Like, what's the cooldown?
It's just 2-to-1, right? It's like 75 versus 40 seconds.
I think it's 80 versus 45 right now. I think they nerfed TP scroll again. So that means teleporting into a lane is 80 second cooldown, and BOTs is like nothing. And you have a coddle that can recall you as you go to defend other lanes. It didn't happen.
Oh, fuck, Tiago, you didn't... Oh, my God. I think this actually may have been his first game playing Coddle. The reason is that Omer, our mutual friend, loves going Coddle when I'm PL and just pumps me full of mana, and it feels really nice. It's really sweet of him. And so Omer was watching this game, and Tiago was like, look at me, I'm the Coddle now, and then chose Coddle.
Okay.
And there you have it. There you have it.
But you can do that more efficiently. And I think that's one of the big limitations of PL. He's slow. He doesn't farm extremely fast until you get like Ags. And just your slow movement speed prevents you from moving from camp to camp to camp faster and making you feel safe split pushing. Whereas if you get BOTs, you can teleport around the map way more readily, always like pushing in lanes, teleporting to the lane, pushing that lane.
I'm so happy you said that, because I love getting BOTs early on this character, but I didn't know if I was just being a newbie who was enjoying things that are irrelevant.
It's good. And it's 55 movement speed, I believe, over what boots give you.
Yeah.
Which is a huge boost to what PL has. In some ways, you can look at it like a Yasha kind of.
Brown boots, yeah. Oh, so, that's an interesting way to think of it, yeah.
Brown boots I don't think gives 40. I think BOTs gives 100 still, and Brown boots is 45, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought that it was all upgraded versions give you 45, but regular gives... The brown ones give you 40. We're going to find out. Hey, look at me. Look at this. Look at this host right here. I aspire to look as good as I do in that photo, man. That's my life goal. That's what's going to happen after Power Hot and the transplant. Holy shit, 45. Look at that. You're totally right.
Treads are 45. Phase are 45. Arcanes are 50.
Oh, Arcanes are 50. Maybe that's where I'm getting the +5 from. The important
probably.
thing is that you're right. Oh, and Grace gives you 55.
Didn't even know that. That's amazing. Who knew? Let's buy Greaves to the movement speed in the future. So I personally like BOTs for the fact that even if you TP to the safe lane like that, it would still be beneficial. This clip, off the top of my head, I don't remember which one this is about. Oh yeah, this is just a demonstration of de-aggroing again. Same thing, you just killed those trolls, but you didn't take that much damage here because your armor's pretty high at this point, but you're still missing like 40 HP by the time this fight starts. Also, you needed to use your Diffusal Blade there on the Necro.
Yeah, totally, 100%.
I don't know if you tried to. It looked like you almost clicked something, but there's a lot. Generally, it seemed like you only used it to slow people, and it's very good at slowing. But there's a lot of huge debuffs that you can break through.
I think that conceptually, I know that it can purge, and I know that it can turn off the ghost form on Necrophos. But in terms of a skill, I whiff on it a shitload. Like, I absolutely could have purged him right there, and I know that effect. I don't even think it entered into my brain. I was like, run away, Spirit Breaker. So.
And I think you could have killed him there. It would have been a little dangerous because you're under tower, but if you diffused him where you were, and maybe used like Doppelganger to spawn more illusions, I think you could have just powered through his mana. Although he was maybe getting a regen from the kill, but you ultimately got a kill here. It was all fine, relatively.
I fucking love this hero so much. I can't even express to you how cool I think he is.
Don't miss last hits on towers. This was a huge mistake by you.
I tried.
Tower last hits give you between 150 and 250 reliable gold. So you lost on average 200 gold. And this wasn't the only tower that you missed last hits on this game.
Oh, I consistently whiff on it. I don't know the timing to hit it on. I don't have a feel for it.
Okay, yeah, just a little bit of practice. And then one more, clip number 8, we're just looking at, you might have to pause on each section you want to look at because I kind of jump between them rapidly. But if we just compare stats and use that to realize how your playstyle affected the game, you've been in 5 kills this game out of the 19 because Lumi carried your ass. And
who's Lumi?
Luminous, don't you know him? Well, he's going to be at TI, so you meet him.
Yeah, no, I had never heard of him referred to as Lumi. So.
Oh, okay, that's like the easy way to say his name.
I thought it was like, if when people call Spirit Breaker Bara, I thought that you were referring to like maybe the lore name of a character, But no, in fact, it is the lore name of Centaur.
Yep. So you're in very few kills, and we can press resume. We can check out the other stats that pop up. We'll show net worth, hero level. Your hero level is actually kind of bad. You're at 15. The highest was like 7. I jumped a little fast. And then net worth. You're only slightly ahead of a centaur, which doesn't really make sense because of how much you're farming. And that's just because he's been in almost every team fight while pushing waves.
Yeah. While
doing efficient things. I mean, he's hit 6K. I don't know what his MMR is right now. That's why his net worth is high. But the playstyle that you did this game was inefficient for that reason, despite your KDA being good.
I think that, 2 comments on this. I think one of the big things that hurt me was going for the Ags instead of the boots. I felt way slower in all regards in this game. And there's another thing that I would love during the live coaching today is for comments on when it is a good idea to stop farming and go fight. I don't know how many of my PL games that you got the chance to see, but overwhelmingly, I had moments where I was farming and a fight was happening, and I was like, should I go to that fight? Should I keep farming / pushing this lane? I really do not know when to favor going into the fight. Like, if I'm right next to my team, then yeah, I'll do it, but almost universally I don't. So
I would say if you know for sure that the fight will last long enough for you to make an impact and probably kill a hero, I would do it. If I don't have Diffusal Blade yet, I would maybe not do it. It depends if you have like big items. It also depends on your HP levels. Depends on how the fight starts. You should just generally look and instantly get a gauge on, is it worth it for me to go? Yeah. And I can definitely help you with that for sure.
Sick.
But usually you want to show up to fights if you're not doing something more important. Or if your team is like obviously going to kill that guy without you, don't go.
Yeah.
Just things like that. So, well, we hit the mark. 30 minutes, easy, no problem. Reduced episode length.
And so, just again to clarify for everyone here with our reduced episode length thing, pretty much all of our focus is going to be on TI for the next chunk of time. So, there'll be the 2-week period where we won't be doing, the official Day 9 Learns Dota shows. But going forward, the emphasis is going to be a lot more on specific topics, such as what we did today, which was like, Sean, you've been playing PL, let's talk about PL, and let's talk about the carry role, and everything that Kevin says is going to tie into the foundational lessons that were the first 18 episodes of Day 9 Learns Dota. So we basically, in short, I have no fucking clue what's going to be happening in 3 weeks when TI is done, but who gives a shit, because TI's in the next 2 weeks. Woo!
Well, you know one thing, we're going to be here on Wednesdays. That's about it.
Yeah!
And a lot of people will be a lot more rich.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Dude, I can't believe, again, the #1 prize pool of any esports event in the world. Isn't that is incredible to me. I kind of feel like...
Used to it.
Yeah, well, I mean, to any of the Dota folk out there, let me just say, if in TI8, the max prize pool is not more than TI7, don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. That's fine. That's a variance. A fucking shitload of people still play Dota. It ain't dead game. Because I've heard people doing that shit too, where I'm like, no, I've been through that, man. Games
Probably
are just awesome.
You're sensitive, I'm sure, from the... we won't talk about it.
No, we can talk about it, man. StarCraft is like the most important thing that has ever happened to me. Are you kidding me? That game is amazing. It's so fucking good. Yeah.
StarCraft 2 was fun. I used to watch the scene a lot as well. But, the viewership did drop, yeah.
Sure.
Which is fine. Still a good game.
Yes. And you can still hop in and play it. I just got to recommend to everyone, if you guys have not been playing Co-op Commander, it's so fucking fun, man. It is the most fun thing. Especially if you don't actually need to, like, compete and win that night. If you just kind of want to build some shit and destroy some shit, Co-op Commander is, like, one of the funnest things in the entire universe.
Is that the one where 2 people control the same team?
That's Archon mode. But the Co-op Commander mode is where you and a teammate play a scenario. It's kind of like a raid, and you get to like custom build an army. I really like Karax because he has all these like cool robotics facility units, and he has like a little panel of abilities. And so you play through kind of like a custom twist on a race with custom units. Like,
cool.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. You should totally check it out.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, but what's going to happen now is I'm going to get myself some delicious, wholesome coffee. This break is going to last, I don't know, 2 minutes? 2 minutes work for you?
Yep.
We're going to do
Sounds
a
good.
quick 2-minute break here, and when we come back, Kevin is actually going to do a live coaching session of me right here, right now, to try to, orient me and to give me everything I need to be the most powerful PL player in the world. So let me go to my overlay control. Let me set the duration to 2 minutes. Bam. I'll be right back, Kevin. Hang tight.
Sounds good.